Meek Mill, the rapper from Philadelphia, who made one of the greatest songs in hip-hop history, one of the greatest anthems in hip-hop history. I'm talking about Dreams and Nightmares. Meek Mill is in the news. He joined on Friday Governor Josh Shapiro at a press conference. And Meek spoke at this press conference, and the press conference was announcing a probation reform bill. Now, this reform bill is an important one. The bill reforms qualifications in the state by requiring mandatory probation reviews after 2 years. That means they can't just keep you in jail forever without even giving you a probation review. If it's a misdemeanor sentence, it could also be 50% of the sentence. So if they give you 3 years, that means they got to look at you after a year and a half, whichever is shorter. In addition, it also calls for the same reviews for felony probation after 4 years or 50% of the sentence. So if you got a felony, after 4 years, you still get a probation review. Doesn't mean you guarantee probation, but it also means that you at least get a look. The law also did something else important. It clarifies to judges that minor technical violations of a parole agreement should not result in a person going back to jail.
My mom been living in New Jersey for 10 years. How long I've been breaking probation laws to go see my mom from that bridge right down the street, that bridge, the Ben Franklin? Yeah, every time I cross the Ben Franklin to go pick my mom up to take my son to school in New Jersey, I was actually committing crime the whole time from technical violations. And I didn't have any way to get around that because I already was in jail my whole 20s. My son seen me in prison, and I wanted to take my son to school, so I thought that it's either I'm going to go to jail, I'm going to take my son to school, and, I end up taking my son to school.
The legislation is very vocal about saying that putting somebody back in jail should only be used for serious offenses. How do they define serious offenses? If I'm told I got to do drug treatment and I just never show up. If I start showing signs of violence or harm, then I can be put back. If I'm a threat to society, I can be put back. These are the new stipulations for this law. Why is this important? Why is this important? It's important because so many people who are in the criminal legal system, so many people who are fighting for their lives, trying to get out of jail, trying to get a good lawyer to help them beat a case that they shouldn't have. So many of these people are in jail for something minor. Or in the case of Meek Mill, you commit a crime and then you spend the rest of your life. Meek Mill spent all of his 20s fighting these cases. They put him back in jail for missing a meeting. They put him back in jail for riding a dirt bike in Philly or being with people riding dirt bikes in Philly. I mean, minor offenses. And so the last time Meek was in jail, we fought to get him out.
No, I literally just wrote Meek a letter 3 days ago. I sent him about 10 books. And I always send Meek books, when he's on house arrest, locked up, whatever. I love Meek, and he's a good brother. And so you have somebody who is on probation for 10 years. If I followed you around for 10 years, 15 years, I mean, how about this? If I followed you on the highway for an hour, how many rules would you break? We all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect. And when the system surveils our people, for not just for a week or a month, but for 10, 15 years, you're going to catch them doing something. So yeah, I want Meek to be okay. I want Meek to come home. I want Meek to make good music. But I don't want us to focus just on my brother Meek. I also want us to look at how Meek is a representation of a broader systemic problem where we get over-incarcerated, where our probation sentences are too long, and where judges are quick to throw us in the right. And if Meek weren't rich and famous, he'd have been there a long time ago. Again, I pray Meek comes home soon. I hope he lives a long, healthy life. And the last time I talked to Meek, which was right before he got locked up, we were talking about New Jim Crow. We were talking about the movie 13. And he was telling me about some laws about incarceration. Meek is thinking about this stuff. He's drilling down. Meek's gonna come home a different person, man, or even better. Not because of prison. I'll be clear about that. Jail ain't making Meek better. Meek is making Meek better. But despite his extraordinarily absurd circumstance, he's gonna be bigger and stronger than ever.
The judge who's overseeing his case had no interest in letting Meek Mill go. She fought tooth and nail. This is a black judge. She fought tooth and nail to keep him in jail. I'm excited about the bill. But I'm more proud of my brother Meek, because Meek Mill got out of his hot water. He got out of his case, and he could have went back to being a rapper. He could have just focused on the people who are in his circle. He's got a billionaire circle now. He's got a billionaire Michael Rubin. He's got a billionaire Robert Kraft. He's got a billionaire Jay-Z. He's surrounded by people with money none of us will ever see. He's in all the social circles. He's out the hood. Meek could have just went on about his life and said, you darkies need to worry about yourselves. But Meek didn't do that. Instead, Meek used his resources, his time, and his energy to not just get the door open for himself, but to keep the door open for other people. And that's what makes this so important to me. When Meek was at that press conference, Meek cried. And I ain't never seen Meek cry before.
So I want to thank you guys here today. I don't want to get emotional because it's a lot. It's good, bro. You don't gotta clap. You don't gotta clap, cause I'm at a point in my life like we all grew up in the streets and we try to be better, but they labeled us felons, sent us back to jail. I had to fight against that the whole time to gain my respect and be who I am today, and I'm proud of that. And some people cry when they get in the moments. I really do this for the people that helped me be in this position. Even seeing my mom here, she ain't had nobody to call when a technical violation was 10 years. No DeSantis, I have nothing against her, but she was asking for me to get 10 years in front of my mom. That was like a thing that I had to fight against, to not just undervalue myself and throw myself away. And I always wanted to be better, and you guys in here in this room helped me be that today.
Meek was proud of himself, as he should have been. We were proud of him as we were, but you could also watch him appreciate how far he had come. And that's the beauty of this journey for me. And it's a lesson for everybody out there. It's not enough to get your life right. It's not enough to get successful. You must also pull other people in. You must also save your brothers and sisters. You must also fix the laws, repair the system. Now, some of you are out there saying, well, I thought you were an abolitionist, Mark. I thought you didn't believe in the criminal legal system. Now you're trying to reform it. Well, I am an abolitionist. I do believe in a world without prisons. I do not believe that we can reform our way to fixing things. But as Ruth Wilson Gilmore teaches us and others teach us who are brilliant scholars and pioneering abolitionists, is that there's different kinds of reforms. There's reformist reforms and there's abolitionist reforms. I don't support any reform that allows us to believe that this system can work as it is. I don't accept any reform that makes us think that prisons are the way to go. I don't accept any reform that will invite us to double down on carcerality, locking folk up as the solution to our problems. But why wouldn't I want phones and phone calls to be free in jail? Like we just passed something in Massachusetts. Why wouldn't I want that? If I know that connecting to family makes people less likely to go to prison, decarceration. Why wouldn't I fight for decriminalizing or legalizing marijuana so that people don't go into jail, excarceration? I'm okay with fighting the rules that makes people's lives easier and better as we fight to dismantle the prison industrial complex. Some of y'all are so armchair revolutionary, so armchair academic, that you would literally not support a law that will get people protection from sexual assault in jail, that will get people mental health care in jail, that'll provide drug treatment in jail. We don't do reforms that save the prison, but we do reforms that make life more manageable for the prisoner. And that's what Meek is doing. So I salute Meek Mill for this. I salute everybody in the Reform Alliance who did this. This is what it means to organize. This wasn't a one-day battle. And it wasn't Meek Mill alone. There were many politicians locally, like Anthony Williams. There were many people who were activists on the ground who have been fighting for this for years. But Meek helped get this thing into the end zone. And for that, he deserves our applause, our gratitude, and our solidarity.